Interesting.
And I mean, the largest predator in South America at the time was like this large predatory bird. And, I'm sorry, eggs just don't stand up against rats. And they never have. Ask the dodo. So, and then complaining that Europeans came over and somehow, like a lot of these arguments are about genocide.
Sure.
Well, I'm not sure that's entirely fair to blame the Europeans. Admittedly, most of my heritage is European. At one point, I considered myself to be, Native American in part, but turns out that was a rapey Mongol. Sorry, everybody, I was just wrong. But other than it happens. Rapey Mongols happen a lot. As a matter of fact, if you've got Eastern European heritage, chances are good there's a rapey Mongol out there someplace. So if you can't really blame the Europeans for having diseases that happen to wipe out a large portion of the Americas.
That's certainly true.
Certainly there were bad things done, plenty of them, but slavery wasn't unknown to our Native American brethren of 500 years ago.
Right.
Oh, my God, this concept of taking people into bondage and forcing them to do things. It's not like, oh, my goodness, we never heard of this. Or warfare or, spreading empires or any of this stuff. This stuff all went on.
Disregarding the Aztec Empire's name, right?
Inca, Mayan, all these people existed, and they That's amazing to me.
You mean that they didn't see firsthand?
Right, they didn't see firsthand. They didn't experience. I don't even know what the terms to use, right? They saw and experienced it. You're right. They did see and they did experience it because the media is so effective. When you
I don't know if that's a positive thing or a negative thing, you know?
Yeah. When you saw that kid and the news guy blown up by U.S. helicopters by mistake, I imagine you had a visceral reaction to it.
Certainly.
Or you're a psychopath. And, maybe you felt, as an American, you felt some responsibility for it. Or maybe you felt defensive. Whatever it is that you felt surrounding it, it's much more than you likely feel as far as some responsibility for, I don't know, the loyalists being beaten up by the revolutionaries in the Revolutionary War. And probably you don't think about that very much.
Yeah, because we don't have video of that happening. It's something I've never given any consideration to. I mean, sure, I know it was a thing that happened, but I didn't see it with my own eyes in the way that I did see the murder of the journalists. You're referring to what Chelsea Manning leaked, right?
Right, that was the Chelsea Manning leak. I want to tell you about this, the marketing officer from this museum, and what he had to say, because it's interesting.
It's almost brilliant marketing. Not saying
I've never heard of this wax museum before this.
That's true. Maybe they should have kept it. I'm not saying it's a good idea, but if they're motivated by financial concerns, well, having a statue.
They should have sold the statue to somebody who wanted to get rid of it.
855-450-3733. Would you take a picture with a wax statue of Adolf Hitler? Let us know.
Let me ask you something. What are you doing when you put money in a 401k or IRA, or store jumper cables in your vehicle, or purchase health insurance? You're preparing. You're preparing to ensure you have enough money for retirement. You're preparing for when your car battery dies, or to have assistance paying a major unexpected medical bill. That all makes sense. The same goes for building a food storage plan. You're preparing for when emergencies or disasters strike and shelves go empty at your grocery store. The best way to prepare is with My Patriot Supply. They've helped 1 million hardworking Americans become more self-sufficient. My Patriot Supply sells hundreds of items, including dozens of emergency food kits at mypatriotsupply.com. It could be an earthquake, a cyber attack freezing our banking system, or a disaster that shuts down our power grid for weeks. For all these emergencies and more, get your supplies and prepare today at mypatriotsupply.com. No more rushing to find empty store shelves because you're too late. Do it now so you're ready. mypatriotsupply.com.
This is George Norrie from Coast to Coast AM and History Channel's Ancient Aliens, and we're proud to promote amazing energy, nutrition, and skincare products from Jeunesse. Visit gcnlife.com for products like Luminesse. The Luminesse anti-aging skincare line restores youthful vitality and radiance to your skin, reducing the appearances of fine lines and wrinkles with stem cell technology. There's also Instantly Ageless, which works within 2 minutes, reducing under-eye bags, fine lines, wrinkles, and pores. Jeunesse has products to help you with how you look and feel in a very short time. Nobel-nominated Dr. Vincent Jampapa has designed several products helping the body perform better. Jeunesse products have a 30-day money-back guarantee, and they're available up to a 25% preferred price discount. See all of the amazing Jeunesse products at gcnlife.com or call toll-free 1-844-443-6637, 1-844-443-6637.
Free Talk Live.
I was a pedestrian, and an asinine cop backed up and hit me and knocked me down to the ground. And I said, I think we need to call the police, as I'm, screaming in pain. And he said, go ahead, I'm a cop too. And he left the scene of the accident.
Oh, wow.
So when the police and the ambulance and all the paramedics arrived to take me to the hospital, because I have knee damage now and need knee replacements to both knees because of his actions. And I told him, I said, I'm a registered nurse. I work drug and alcohol rehab. This guy was drunk. I could see it. I could tell by his his actions. He was drunk. And I said, I want a blood alcohol done on him. They knew who he was. They waited 6 hours to go to his home to arrest him. And, of course, by then he had sobered up.
Sure.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern. Live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
You're listening to the best Liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. So call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That number is 855-450-3733. With you tonight is Aria.
And Mark.
And I want to tell you about LibertyCon. It's a unique Liberty convention, April 3rd through the 5th in Washington, D.C. for people who want to network with more than 70 pro-liberty organizations for the purpose of career advancement, business, and internship opportunities. Hear from a list of incredible speakers such as John Mackey, Whole Foods CEO and co-founder, who will speak on conscious capitalism, Vernon Smith, who won the Nobel Prize in Economics and will speak on alternative markets, Miriam Issa, Nassim Nicholas Taleb, who spent 21 years as a risk taker, a quantitative trader, before becoming a researcher in philosophical, mathematical, and practical problems with probability. Dude, I want to meet him. And there's still more. So visit libertycon.com for more details on additional speakers and events and use the code FTL for a $10 discount on your registration. Student travel scholarships are available and discount rooms for everyone at the Marriott Marquis. Save with early registration at libertycon.com and use the coupon code FTL. Use the code FTL for a $10 discount. Sounds like an interesting event. Certainly some really intelligent people going to be speaking there. And it's always worth hearing really intelligent people
I'm excited to go.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Let's get into the phones here. We got Alan calling from New York. Alan, you're on Free Talk Live. Are you still with us, Alan?
I wanted to answer the question. I'd take it with a flamethrower.
Yeah. A for effort as usual. Getting right back into the story about getting one's picture taken with Hitler. Evidently, there's some people who were really upset that the statue even existed in the first place, much less was available for people to take their picture with it.
It's the most disturbing image has to be these young Asian kids with their arms held aloft in the Nazi salute here behind the Auschwitz, in front of the Auschwitz sign next to a wax figure of Hitler. I'm very surprised at this. I hadn't heard of it or seen it, and I'm with James there that this is not acceptable. Now, I wouldn't go destroying these people's property. It's theirs, right? They own it. And let's go with their side of it, right? So Warley, the museum's marketing officer, who goes by one name, defended the waxwork to the Associated Press. He said he knew Hitler was a historical figure responsible for mass murder, but since his statue went on display in 2014, the work was one of the favorite figures for our visitors to take selfies with.
Shocking. Well, didn't Time make Hitler the person of the century for the 20th century?
Maybe they did, and it probably would be, like he was certainly an important figure in the 20th century.
He was probably the most influential person, the most influential single person of the 20th century.
No visitors complained about it, he said. Most of our visitors are having fun because they know it's just an entertainment museum. The just entertainment aspect of similar depictions of Hitler and his Nazi regime is something that has vexed historians and activists for years. Some worry that distancing historical figures from their atrocities, essentially turning them into caricatures and cartoon characters, is the first step towards repeating the mistakes of the past. And I'm not sure that I can see that, but okay. In a Q&A with the Connecticut Jewish Ledger, Gavriel Rosenfeld, the author of Hi Hitler, that is just too lighthearted, by the way, warned that similar Hitler and neo-Nazi-based displays normalize the Nazi legacy. The internet, above all, is the medium that really focuses on Hitler as a completely decontextualized, dehistoricalized figure. We can draw a Hitler mustache on anything or a swastika on anything and start laughing at it. When Hitler himself is photoshopped into the form of various other characters, we get into something really bizarre phenomenon.
I don't know that
cats that look like Hitler.
He's wrong. Hitler has certainly been removed from the context of his actual crimes when you have people saying that, all Republicans are Hitler. Donald Trump is literally Hitler.
Right.
Because it's always literally Hitler. You just about can't say it.
Without saying literally?
Yeah, even though he quite clearly is
not
literally Hitler.
Yeah. Right, like other can't be literally Hitler. Literally Hitler is dead.
But millennials literally don't know what the word literally means.
Well, literally they don't. So I just don't know. I mean, when you decide, you don't get to control the meme. So you create the meme that Hitler is important and bad. And that's a good idea to create that meme. Pogroms, bad. I'm with you. Not decontextualizing that at all. However, once the meme is created, then you don't get to control how it's going to be. Like, people are going to internalize this and the way they're going to internalize it or whatever. And I'm sorry.
Well, the whole birth of the word meme was from Richard Dawkins, the biologist, who characterized them as, these social things that tend to take on a life of their own.
Sure.
They grow and they change, they evolve, just like genes, which is how he ended up, forming the word. He wanted something that sounded similar to the word genes.
So you get memes?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, I mean, once that meme is out there, it is out of your control, man.
Yeah, I just don't. I'm not.
And Hitler was always prime material to be turned into a meme, for better or worse.
Right. Genocides have existed, but it seems to be important to many times Jews, and I am, to some extent, would be considered a Jew, right? Like, I'm not entirely Jew, but part Jew. It seems to be very important to Jews to make sure that this is the most important genocide we ever talk about. I mean, I've been called a Nazi sympathizer by a Jew for simply saying that I felt that the colonization of the New World was probably a more historically significant and greater atrocity than the Jewish pogrom committed by the Nazis in the late 30s and early 40s.
And I don't want to go all out there with it, but I could certainly understand why the Jewish people, if indeed they do take that position.
I'm not sure. Jewish people don't take a position.
They find it to be advantageous because it was the Holocaust that made it unacceptable to even say the word Jew in modern society.
Is it unacceptable to say Jew?
It almost is.
Okay.
Even referencing someone as being Jewish can be enough to get you called anti-Semitic and compared to Hitler.
Huh. Well, I haven't experienced that, but I'm sure people call me anti-Semitic because I don't agree entirely with every aspect of the Israeli government. End of story, right?
It's the same thing. The reason you can't
That's
criticize
a pretty broad
Israel
brush.
today is because of the propaganda benefits that were wrought by the Holocaust.
Yeah, I think that there's, to some extent, this is a true statement. I mean, I don't want it to be true, but it's true. And that, let's say, but I will say this.
Wasn't
in
it
defense,
Bush who said never let a good tragedy go to waste?
Sure.
Well, the Jewish people have not allowed the Holocaust to go to waste. Yes.
But I would also say this. Had the education not occurred, then there might be an argument that some pogrom might exist in the future.
And pogrom means what?
Pogrom is basically a genocide against Jews in a local area.
Which is deplorable. Should not be allowed, should not be tolerated.
Yeah, and history's replete with them. There's quite a few of them. It's not like this was the only one that ever went. Most effective, but not the only one that went on. And so I can see that there's a point at which one should, to which one should point this out, right? Like, it's important to say, hey, look, hey, over here, we're the Jews, and, y'all have like to kill us for some period of time, and let's stop that, okay? We want to integrate, and, everything's great, right? Whereas at some point, there's a point when it's just like, can we stop talking about this? And I can see both sides. I really can.
I don't disagree. It is important, I think, to recognize these things. But, as we're talking about, the Holocaust, this is doing nothing about the concentration camps in the United States right now, where, people from South America are being held against their will. So what is the point in focusing on the Holocaust almost exclusively if we're not going to use it as a motivating factor and immediately shutting down? Because we're not getting
pictures out of the ones that are in the United States.
Right, which is all the more alarming.
Sure. As U.S. citizens, as the government, we're told that we, the people, are the government. As the government, should we not have information about our concentration camps? Now, I don't believe any of this. By the way, this propaganda that we are the government. Right, we are not the government, and we don't have concentration camps. But those that rule us would have us believe that we are the government and that we, that we're responsible in some way, and we're not.
No, absolutely not. We have no
responsibility we have no control
for these atrocities, and we couldn't stop them if we wanted to.
Nope.
855-450-3733. What do you think about the American concentration camps and its roots in the Holocaust? 855-450-3733.
I want to tell you about my favorite cryptocurrency wallet, Edge Wallet, at edge.app. Edge is the wallet I use more than any other, and that was true long before Edge Wallet became a sponsor of Free Talk Live. Edge Wallet allows you to buy, sell, trade, and securely hold your cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, and more. It's available for both Android and iOS, and you can download it via the Play or App Store or via Edge Wallet's website, edge.app. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet.
Business owners, you want more customers? Accept cryptocurrencies. There's people all around you just waiting to spend money at your store. If only you would take it. I know, you've been waiting till someone else makes it easy. Well, good news. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com adds Bitcoin to your point of sale, totally free. Use the same equipment you already have, now with Bitcoin. And unlike credit cards, there's no fees. Let the guys at HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com bring new customers to your store. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you're helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,488, silver at $17.54, and Bitcoin is trading around $8,238. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, bump stock owners aren't complying with an illegal federal ban approved through an unconstitutional bureaucratic process, via the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. According to the Washington Times, only 1,000 bump stocks were collected in the run-up to the March deadline. There are between 280,000 to 520,000 bump stocks in circulation, according to the Justice Department. Activist Post reports that the feds would have to replicate that same rate of the collection either 280 or 520 times in order to recover all the remaining bump stocks, and that's assuming more devices are not secretly manufactured and sold in the meantime. To comply with the bump stock ban would be to merely encourage further confiscation efforts, but the lack of compliance makes it obvious that the policy is unpopular and will be expensive to enforce. Refusal to turn over the bump stocks is nullification in effect on an individual level. Hundreds of thousands of people are simply saying, quote, "We will not comply," end quote. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. A 13-year-old Overland Park, Kansas girl was arrested last month and charged with a felony after police say her classmates claim she made a gun-like hand gesture at multiple students. The Mind Unleashed reports the girl, a student at Westridge Middle School, flashed the finger gun at 4 fellow students and then toward herself September 18th, after her classmates asked her which 5 people in the classroom she would kill. That's according to Overland Park Police Chief Frank Donches. The student, who remains unidentified due to laws protecting her privacy, was arrested and charged the day following the incident for threatening a mass shooting, according to the Johnson County District Attorney's Office. The girl admitted to threatening others, the police have said. The context of the conversation remains unclear, but the girl is now living in California, according to the Kansas City Star. The girl's grandfather, John Kavanaugh, told the Star the girl was simply mouthing off. Arrests of children have skyrocketed over the last decade. That's according to the latest statistics published by the FBI. These statistics, compiled from 2013 to 2018, revealed more than 30,000 children under the age of 10 have been arrested, averaging more than 6,000 kids per year. Equally disturbing is students 10 to 12 years of age topped 266,000. Activist Post reports that in the past, students and children were disciplined with consequences such as timeout and paddling. But as more and more schools replace handling things internally with external police state options like school resource officers, children are ending up with arrest records and their fingerprints stored in databases. Often referred to as the school-to-prison pipeline, the principal players in the funneling of kids from school to jail are the school resource officers. What may seem like routine policing or modern-day policing methods to some, others see as a human rights violation, a slippery slope leading to a criminal life, and a poor use of school resources. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
From that romantic summer evening in 1924 when Pol Pot was conceived, to the first time someone figured out how to eat a pineapple without ripping their mouth to shreds. This week in history, 1692, 5 citizens were executed after being convicted during the Salem witch trials, all while dozens of witches, warlocks, and sorcerers stood by and watched the wrongly accused take the rap for them, while the perfectly normal humans charged with witchcraft were publicly hung and dragged to their unmarked graves. The numerous Salem citizens that did spend their evenings casting spells and awakening the dead merely lowered their heads as their friends and neighbors were burned at the stake.
Historical records have indicated that as many as 35% of the people in Salem were actually witches and warlocks. In fact, the executioner himself was a well-known necromancer who, after hanging the wrongly accused witches, reanimated their dead bodies and apologized before casting them into the eternal fires of hell.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control, and you can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That number is 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Aria.
And Mark.
And the subject of the show, by and large, has been genocide and various genocides throughout, human history, because they're certainly not a new thing. The first one was not the Holocaust, and it certainly wasn't the last one, regrettably. And there are various monuments, shrines, testaments, both in tribute to these people who executed these crimes and against these people who committed these crimes. Like you have praising monuments, as you mentioned, of people like Genghis Khan and Joseph Stalin throughout the world today. And evidently you had one in Indonesia of Adolf Hitler made out of wax that wasn't necessarily being done to praise him, but the way people treated it they didn't
take it terribly seriously. Not surprising that people from Indonesia aren't taking the guy who committed, some form of genocide many thousands of miles away terribly seriously. They just don't have the relationship to it.
Well, even if we had such a statue here in the United States, I would not be at all surprised by people who went to take selfies with it. I would almost certainly do so, but I'm a troll at heart. And it seems like that would be a really good way to troll large numbers of people easily.
Right. And I think that what we've come to is that this is a world where it is acceptable to create a statue or a monument, might not be the right term, a depiction of any mass murderer in history who has done any terrible thing. Like, you pick the terrible thing. You could make the second most hated person in America, maybe Jeffrey Dahmer, right? Like, there's another, if you were going to say, we have to have hell because we have to be able to send two people to it, those two people could very well be Hitler and Jeffrey Dahmer.
Well, yeah, but according to the Christian mythology, Hitler's not going to hell anyway.
Look, I don't want to discuss that part, but many Christians believe Hitler is going to hell.
Well, they're wrong.
Okay, so Jeffrey Dahmer, there's probably a wax statue of this guy someplace on the planet, and I bet you there's people taking selfies with it. It's what we've pointed out here, and I think it's just so, is that somehow the propaganda machine, the contra propaganda machine that kicked in post World War II managed to make it unacceptable to create a depiction of Hitler.
Yes.
At least a depiction of Hitler that isn't comical. So this guy here in this article here is complaining about comical depictions of Hitler, sort of taking away the bite of Nazism or whatever. The so-called Nazi normalization has sparked an outcry before in Indonesia, which has the largest Muslim population in the world and a minuscule Jewish population. A Nazi-themed cafe in the city of Bandung, where waiters wore replicas of SS uniforms.
Okay, so Indonesians, just nuts.
Tone deaf, I think is the best term I want to use here. Caused anger abroad for several years until reportedly closing its doors at the beginning of this year.
A Nazi cafe.
I went to a place called Red Square in Nevada some years ago, and you could dress up in old, Soviet uniforms, just put the big furry hat on your head and put the coat over. They'd send a hot gal in with you to take shots off of a block of ice that contained Lenin's head in bronze. The whole thing. I don't even know what I think about this, but I can tell you, I drank a lot of vodka off that top of Lenin's head, and I had a wonderful time. I've got some good pics of this.
There's way too much to unpack there for me to know how I feel about that.
Right. I mean, the thing,
I'm not sure where to start.
And it's sort of the what is too soon and what is your cultural relationship to this thing or that thing. The cultural relationship that the United States has to Hitler is significantly different than the cultural relationship the United States has to Lenin. Perhaps it shouldn't be, but it is.
So back to the question I asked earlier, if there was a way that people could take a selfie with Hitler in some way that was clearly mocking him or demeaning him, would that be okay? Like if it was Hitler's head on a pike or whatever, and people were taking shots of alcohol of it, would they be okay with me, a trans person, giving a picture of Hitler the middle finger while saying, "You lost"? Would they be okay with that?
Probably. I mean, I wonder.
I think the context is important.
This wax statue. Okay, so first off, let's talk about solutions to this. If you don't like the wax statue of Hitler, I don't like the wax statue of Hitler. The question is, how much do you not like it? Because I don't care if somebody has a minor opinion about something.
See, this is where the troll thing within my whole generation starts to really show itself. I'm okay with the statue of Hitler, and I dislike the statue of Hitler. I would take a selfie with it to be funny because I dislike the statue of Hitler, and because the shock effect of it, it's valuable.
I think that it's tone deaf, but I understand what they're doing and whatever.
Indonesia is definitely tone deaf.
To me, what it's about is what is the value for you? Because somebody on the planet finds this statue so repugnant that they'd be willing to spend $1 million to take it down. And that person should be able to buy that statue from that museum and melt it or
if the museum is
hang it in
to sell
effigy
it.
Or whatever. And that's what they should be willing. That should be, well, honestly, the problem with this, with my method, but this is what I think they should be able to do. The problem with my method is that the museum then, if you're willing to pay $1 million, then pays another $20,000 to get another replica of Hitler made. And perhaps in Indonesia, we're talking $2,000. I don't know. Replica of Hitler created and then begins to sell replicas of Hitler at $1 million a piece.
See, I'm okay with all of this.
Westerners.
Hey, if you can exploit someone's irrational response to a thing, exploit their emotional response.
Well, at least they understand that it's irrational. I do like when people understand that they're irrational, but what they're doing is they're attempting to stop this behavior. By shaming everybody and making their culture. Like, you see, the thing is it's completely acceptable to say, oh, you Americans are ruining everybody's culture. You're trying to get them to learn English and genes and your, sexual lifestyles and all those things that people complain about, probably legitimately, about the United States and the spread of its culture. However, the spread of the United States' culture surrounding its beliefs around Hitler is not questioned for a second. The way that we may go over, run over Indonesians' tone deafness surrounding genocide in Western Europe, that's okay. And you're either against cultural dominance or you're not. And that's what this is. It's a cultural dominance.
Yeah, I mean, especially if it was the case, and I don't know if it is or isn't, but if it is the case that the people of Indonesia, they value the representation of historical figures for all reasons. If it was just part of their culture to look back at past figures and, I don't want to say idolize them, but that's essentially what it is when you make a statue of someone.
It's an idol.
Yeah.
This restaurant was called the Solden Cafe or whatever, named after a restaurant in Paris that was popular with occupying Nazi soldiers. Hitler portraits and Nazi flags adorned the walls in the Indonesian restaurant. The cafe's owner insisted to the Daily Mail that he wasn't a neo-Nazi and said to the cafe's website that it explored Hitler and the Nazis as pop culture.
Yeah, it does sound kind of like it is just part of Indonesian culture to treat the Nazis as though they weren't significant. And by what right does Western society then go, no, you have to treat them this way that we say?
Chinese still consider Genghis Khan to be significant and evil. And
Really?
should.
Well, yeah. 855-450-3733. What do you think about this whole thing? 855-450-FREE.
Warning, this is a privacy alert. You are being spied on right now as I speak by your phone. If you want this to stop, visit GoDarkBags.com and we'll show you how elite military units protect themselves and how you can too. GoDark Bags are lab tested and guaranteed for life. Visit GoDarkBags.com now and enter discount code FTL to save 15%. That's GoDarkBags.com. Discount code FTL. Your privacy depends on it. End transmission.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Dynovite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved Lico Chops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Do you have a crypto wealth advisor or coach? If so, has your cryptocurrency advisor been investing in technology stocks for over 20 years? Have they left the corporate world and retired? Or are they still trying to make a weekly paycheck? Have they produced 6-figure results for their customers in the past 30 days? And very importantly, are they a member of the Digital Currency Council? Seth Maniscalco is the founder of Crypto Wealth Coach and CryptoWealthCoach.com. Seth invested in his first Roth IRA at 19 years old while living abroad and has been investing in Wall Street and technology for over 20 years with experience in all the money markets. By comparison, so many of these so-called crypto gurus have barely been alive for 20 years. Seth has not only experienced personal success from his own investments in crypto, he has also helped his clients earn 6- and 7-figure incomes, including helping investors make over $750,000 in EOS in 90 days and 1,225% in only 5.5 months with Chainlink. Seth has help for the small do-it-yourself guy on up to crypto whales. Increase your wealth. Visit CryptoWealthCoach.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. Call in and talk about whatever is on your mind using our toll-free number of 855-450-3733. And with you tonight, it's Arya.
And Mark.
So if you take my advice and you go to local.bitcoin.com and buy some Bitcoin Cash, you may end up wondering, where do I put this cryptocurrency now? Well, I would recommend the Edge wallet. It's the Edge wallet that I use. It's available for both iOS and Android. and it can be used to directly buy, sell, trade, and securely hold cryptocurrencies. It's all user-controlled. You own your own money. There's none of that crap with 14-word, recovery phrases or any of that nonsense. It uses a username and password system that, as long as you remember those two pieces of information, you can log into the Edge wallet on any device without having to go, oh no, which one of these 14-word passphrases belongs to this particular wallet. There's none of that. It's got support for Bitcoin Core, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Stellar, and so many more. Their tagline is secure your freedom. So go to edge.app to find out more about it, and go to the Google Play or iOS stores and download it directly. It's a wonderful wallet, and it's being used here in Keene by homeless people to make cryptocurrency purchases, which is only possible because of the Edge wallet. It's amazing. It's a great wallet.
It's in my opinion, the best one out there.
It is by far the best one out there. So again, go check it out. That's the Edge wallet. Now, in keeping with the story of genocide and various wrongdoings by government, and in keeping with the general theme, as I've noticed, China has been mentioned quite frequently on Free Talk Live within the past few months because there's a lot happening right there. In fact, we talked about them last week with South Park and China. And of course, I don't know if it was mentioned here on the air, but South Park did in fact respond to their ban by the Chinese government. I can't tell you how they responded, but you'll have to go watch that episode to find out for yourself. But they responded in the way that you would expect South Park to behave. They didn't respond the way that Blizzard responded or Activision responded. They didn't respond the way the NBA responded.
Like a little servile, cow-towing.
Yeah, South Park did exactly what you would expect South Park to, and it was glorious.
Yeah, they gave it was a middle finger, but a nicely polished middle finger, like a really good one.
Yes, it was. So, getting back into Hong Kong and what's going on there, Chinese President, what is that, Xi Jinping?
Xi Jinping, yeah.
Warned adversaries on Sunday that any attempt to split China will
Xi Jinping is what we're going with.
Okay. Will end in crushed bodies and shattered bones, according to state media.
Say that all again one more time for me. I was thinking about Winnie the Pooh. Go ahead.
Yes. Well, President Xi Jinping warned adversaries on Sunday that any attempt to split China will end in crushed bones and crushed bodies.
Who are the adversaries, and what are we talking about splitting China?
Well, we're going to get further into that. It's in the article. According to state media, anti-government protesters in Hong Kong returned to the streets for a 19th consecutive weekend. So this has been going on for a very long time. Although Winnie the Pooh didn't explicitly name Hong Kong in his comments, his references to separatists and external forces.
That's better. Winnie the Ping. That is much better.
Okay, perfect. Echoed previous language used by Beijing when talking about protests in the semi-autonomous Chinese city. Anyone attempting separatist activities in any part of China will be crushed, and any external force backing such attempts will be deemed by the Chinese people as pipe dreaming, said Winnie the Ping during a state visit to Nepal, according to the state news agency. So, demonstrations continued in Hong Kong on Sunday, but they were smaller than in previous weeks and appeared to portend a shift to more guerrilla-style tactics. Now, what they're largely referring to with these external forces, for those who haven't been keeping up, is sort of the United States, because there are attempts to use what's happening in Hong Kong between Trump and the Chinese government as a negotiating tactic.
Right.
You also have Senators Ted Cruz and someone else going to Hong Kong and outright voicing their support for the Hong Kong protesters.
I support the Hong Kong protesters.
I wholeheartedly support
I don't know
them.
if I wholeheartedly. These aren't libertarians.
They're not,
it's not a personal freedom protest. But, it's better than what they got.
Yes. So groups
also, it's worth pointing out that the Hong Kong is the freest place on the planet when it comes to sort of economic freedoms.
Is that still the case?
Still the case.
Okay.
Taiwan is interestingly giving them a run, moving way up the charts very quickly. But Singapore is number 2, has been for a long time. Not necessarily when it comes to personal freedoms in Singapore, but certainly economic freedoms.
So the majority of protests are still peaceful, but the number of violent incidents has risen as the unrest has dragged on. During a press conference Monday, a police spokesperson said that officers had uncovered an improvised explosive device on Sunday night on Nathan Road, one of the city's busiest thoroughfares.
So IEDs being found. This Chinese protest is not nonviolent. It's mostly been non-lethal from what I've been able to say, at least from the protesters' side.
Well, when you're protesting a tyrannical regime,
people are going to get passionate.
I'm not opposed to using violence against those who would enforce that regime. Not innocent bystanders, but yes, if they're sending in the military and the police to crush your protests for,
fighting back against
autonomy, then you have to actually fight back against them.
I think that it's, well, I don't know if you have to. I'm going to say that
you don't have to.
It's morally acceptable.
Yes.
The question is,
it may not be strategically smart.
It may not be, right? Like one of the things the Gandhi had was he had a lot of people that were willing to, like, quite literally take lumps on the head, get pounded in the head in order to, but still not use violence to get what they wanted. And I don't think I could do it. Like, I'd have to use some kind of force to defend myself if that's what it is. And, if they're trying to drive everybody off the streets and to silence the protests, well, what do you do? I don't know what you do.
I don't either. But violence in Hong Kong has become more acute since the city's leader, Carrie Lam, used colonial-era emergency powers to ban citizens from wearing masks at public gatherings earlier this month. On Sunday, protesters...
And don't forget that mask wearing is very cultural in Hong Kong and China, generally Asia, because people don't want to spread illnesses to each other. It's considered polite.
Do those count as masks for the purpose of this? Wow.
Yep.
On Sunday, however, protesters dressed in black vandalized and set fire to government facilities, subway stations, and shops deemed to be pro-China. Now, this goes back to what you were saying. That's certainly violence. There may have been no casualties, but setting fire to buildings, subway stations, and shops, that's violence.
Mm-hmm.
That's destruction of property.
It's true.
Several of these incidents were caught on video, including one showing what appears to be a protester stabbing an officer in the neck.
Oh, my.
With what police called a sharp-edged object. A group of protesters was also filmed attacking a lone officer in riot gear, with one delivering a jump kick to the neck.
It's hard to pull off a jump kick.
It is, and especially to someone's neck. There's more about this, more about China and what's happening there, so don't go anywhere. This is Free Talk Live.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Do you want to join the ultra-wealthy by using a 160-year-old investing program that is no longer exclusive? Keep your funds fluid and 100% tax-free for you or your heirs with no contribution limits and without ever losing your principal with Fortune DNA. Learn how to avoid the volatility of the market and put certainty back into your investing future. Join us at dna.freetalklive.com for more details and your exclusive invitation to the free webinar on Tuesday at 8 p.m. Register now at dna.freetalklive.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. Call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That number's 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Aria.
And Mark.
And you know, a few weeks ago, we did a new thing for Free Talk Live. We hosted a webinar, and by all accounts, it was awesome. I enjoyed doing it. Roger Paxton actually hosted it with Chris Ann of Liberty First University.
I would call it an unqualified success. I mean, it was really great.
Yeah, and it's tremendously fascinating to watch because Chris Ann, she's a very passionate, very excited, dynamic person. And Roger had to say almost nothing to keep her going. It's hard to talk solidly for about an hour. Even
on a topic, yeah.
Yeah, even on a subject that you're intensely passionate about. But she pulled it off. She nailed it. She was never boring at any moment.
No.
And she was knowledgeable. She knew
She
everything.
also handled a lot of libertarian thoughts on the Constitution.
She did.
And I don't know if I made a 180 in my opinion on the Constitution, but my opinion has changed.
She improved my opinion of the Constitution, I would say, but it's still not a document that I consented to, so I don't recognize its authority.
But she does point out that there's no particular reason for you to have consented. The Constitution is a compact between states, organizations, so there's really no binding on the people themselves.
Well, but there is one between the state constitutions and the people of those states.
Yes.
So, and I never consented
But this
to
wasn't
that
a class on the New Hampshire State Constitution, which is
fair point.
Would be interesting.
What is it a class on, though? You might be curious. You can watch it at lfu.freetalklive.com. That's LFU, like Liberty First University. .freetalklive.com. It's really awesome. You can find a link there to the YouTube video. It's great. Go check it out. It's an excellent way to spend an hour. So, speaking of excellent ways to spend time, evidently in Hong Kong, everybody was kung fu fighting with police officers now being kicked in the neck.
Flying jump kick.
To the neck. Which, as you pointed out,
not easy to pull that off.
It is not. So I'm picturing Mortal Kombat style jump kick just soaring.
Fatality.
But before we get back into the story of Hong Kong, let's get into the phones. We got Olivia calling from Arizona. Olivia, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, I wanted to make a comment about Columbus Day and honoring all these horrific people. But first, I just wanted to make a comment about masks and not preventing diseases, or like not spreading diseases. I knew a school teacher who refused to buy like Kleenexes for the classroom. They made a hole in like a box and just had the kids put like a roll of toilet paper from the bathroom in there, and that was the Kleenex. But instead, the teacher would buy those little blue masks from Walmart, and they'd be like, if you are sick, please put on one of these disposable masks. You don't have to wear it anywhere else. You can throw it away when you leave, but please just don't breathe the germs in the room. I thought that was kind of a neat idea.
So,
when I was at the DMV last week, I had to go for stupid reasons. But when I was there, I was sitting next to this guy who, in the course of my 3.5-hour wait, applied sanitizer to his hands at least 35 times. At least. Every few minutes, he was reaching over there and hitting the sanitizer.
That is probably a neurosis.
You think so?
Yes.
Well, I know there's a lot to be said about, restricting one's interactions with various viruses and bacteria, inhibiting one's immune system.
So I'm not going to comment on that. I think that there's, it's only valuable in so much as you don't get yourself sick, right? Once you get sick, then you have gone too far with trying to expose yourself to all these varieties of infections in order to prevent infections. Like, whoops, messed up on that one. But most illnesses that we deal with on a day-to-day basis come from contact. If not contact with a person, contact with a thing that a person recently touched that's ill.
Certainly. So, Olivia, what were your
thoughts? So a mask isn't particularly effective. I mean, yes, it's effective if you have it over your mouth and you sneeze at somebody and the mask catches the projectile infectious spittle. Yes, that's good.
Well,
but
interestingly, the Mythbusters studied this at using dye and stuff like that. It was really fascinating to see the results. But if you're not consciously, deliberately avoiding contact with people and they're sick, you're going to get sick. So, Olivia, what were your thoughts on Columbus?
Oh, I think that was they used the masks just during like flu season. It was that the kids would breathe in the teacher's face. I think it was just to keep from But the thoughts on Columbus, the Oatmeal is a web comic, and they did a really good job of explaining like an alternative to Christopher Columbus. There's a friar or a priest named Bartolome de las Casas, I think, and who was a great humanitarian. I don't know. I think it's weird that we sit there and honor these really brutal, horrific people and don't really mention. I don't know. It's just a strange way of like brainwashing when we have good alternatives.
It is. I mean, we have lots of people now who idolize Che Guevara.
Right.
The rebel in, I think it was Cuba, I don't remember, but he was homophobic. He was just a horrible, horrible person. And it's like, why are you idolizing this guy? Gandhi is literally right there.
Right? It's crazy. So, I don't know. I think it's weird, too, that people feel like that's anti-white. If somebody had a holiday to King Edward Longshanks, the Hammer of the Scots, I would be pretty offended. I would think that was pretty weird. I think it's weird that Andrew Jackson is still on the 20 when they were going to change it to Harriet Tubman. Like, why didn't they do that? Because Andrew Jackson was a horrible, horrible statist. Why
they all were.
He was he's against the central bank.
Yes, he would be appalled to know that his portrait was on the note of a central bank. Yeah. Which sort of makes me feel better about his being there, considering the atrocities that he did commit.
Jackson had guts. I'll give him that.
Well, it takes more than guts to earn my respect.
I mean, as far as personality goes and having it, you line up the presidents. He had a lot more than most of them.
That's true.
Den
of Thieves, the Vipers, all of that. He certainly had.
I'm not defending, the Trail of Tears or any of this sort of unconstitutional stuff that Jackson did. By the way, as 7th president, what was constitutional and what was not constitutional was still much more up in the air back then. But yeah, I mean, I got to say, as a historical figure, he's far enough in the past that I like him.
I don't know. I can't support. He did too much stuff.
Oh, I don't support it.
Awful. He was a horrible person.
Yep.
But yeah, I like these protests on Columbus Day because it does make you sit there and it does make you open a history book and start to try to get to the root of it. And it does make you question, who are we holding up as examples? Who are we sitting there and honoring? And then finding hopefully positive alternatives. If not, the federal holidays changing, then at least for your own personal self. I like how it draws attention to people changing their own viewpoint. I like that.
I like that as well. It's good when phrased that way. I would love for Columbus Day to actually stick around and perhaps just turn into. I mean, if federal workers want the day off, fine, give them the day off, but make it Gandhi Day.
Yeah.
Make it a day of someone who wasn't a jerk.
He's just the guy you like. And people can. The problem with human beings is none
Gandhi
of them are perfect.
was not perfect either.
Right. None of them are perfect. And as soon as you make it Gandhi Day, then somebody's going to trot out that he slept with young women that were too young to consent or something. It all gets very odd.
It does, but as you were saying, it's because no one is perfect, and I mean that's a good argument against having these sorts of days where we commemorate people in the first place.
Well, what do we have days? When do we get days off then?
When we want them. Every federal employee get 10 guaranteed days off a year. Take them when you want. Problem solved, right? 855-450-3733. What do you think about federal holidays? Are they worth it?
Do the letters IRS give you anxiety? I'm Dan Pilla. I've defended people from the IRS for more than 40 years. My book, How to Get Tax Amnesty, created the tax resolution industry and is responsible for helping hundreds of thousands of people. It can help you too. If you're a non-filer or facing IRS enforcement right now, your case is unique. You need real help, not cookie-cutter advice. My clients get my personal attention. Buy my book at danpilla.com and get a free consultation directly with me. That's danpilla.com. Let's start solving your tax problem right now.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
It takes a lot of courage to face your own death, but I'm glad I finally did. See, I was putting off getting life insurance to protect my family, even though I knew it was important. Then my neighbor's husband died. I watched her struggle emotionally and financially. It really made me face reality. If my husband died, how would I pay the mortgage, the car payments, or keep up the life the kids and I had? I realized I needed to get us life insurance right away. So I called AIG Direct. In less than 5 minutes, I had a quote. I was shocked at how affordable it is. Just $14 a month for $250,000 of term life coverage. I feel so much better knowing my family has protection.
Call AIG Direct right now for a free no-obligation quote. The call takes less than 5 minutes, and you can save up to 70%. Call now, 1-800-613-2646. That's 1-800-613-2646. 1-800-613-2646.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com. Or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and if you're quick, you can still get in on the radio with us. That number's 855-450-3733. Again, that's 855-450-FREE, as in Free the People of Hong Kong. With you tonight, it's Aria.
And Mark.
And we've been talking about various genocides and wrongdoings committed by government throughout, the history of humanity, really. And that's taking shape right now in Hong Kong and China. Not strictly limited to Hong Kong. Of course, you have the Uyghur province, or not the Uyghur province, the Uyghur population in a province in China being essentially rounded up, put into re-education camps, and it's receiving worldwide condemnation, except from the United States government, which is unsurprisingly quiet about the entire thing. But let's get back to the phones. We've got Timmy calling from South Park. Timmy, you're on Free Talk Live.
Timmy.
Yeah, that's what I expected. I mean, that's all Timmy is able to say on the show. So, accurate portrayal, I suppose. He wanted to talk about Xing Jinping, which would have been fascinating, but sorry, I can't let you on the air to just say Timmy repeatedly.
Well, it was a good imitation, right?
It was.
Yeah.
It's just limited in where it can be taken.
Okay.
So, Beijing has been particularly critical of Washington's support for the Hong Kong protesters in recent months, with authorities accusing the U.S. of helping to organize demonstrations, claims that the U.S. State Department has called ridiculous. Now, I believe it. The United States economically is scared of China because it's made themselves dependent on China, and that's never a good place to be in.
No, it's an interesting conundrum, because do you support Nixon having gone into China and opening up that market for trade to the world?
I support free trade.
Okay, I support free trade too.
I believe that a business in any given geographic area should be able to trade with the business in another geographic area if they so choose.
This is the conundrum of statism, right? I support
it has many conundrums.
Many. I support free trade, and I support freer trade, because I want people to be freer than they are today, and I see lots of benefits of more freedom over just absolute freedom. And so China being able to do business with the world, businesses in China, people in China being able to do business with people around the world has, undeniably increased the standard of living for the people in China and made life better for them. This is a people that went from, according to stories, eating their children during their revolution. Things were going so bad. Like they had done such a crazy job of killing off the black Chinese in favor of the red Chinese that doing trade with the world a few decades later and becoming an economic powerhouse. Just really some great stuff. However, in the process, the leaders, those that would be king in China, have really secured their power.
They have indeed.
And the United States, because it opened up this market, made a lot of people's lives better in China. However, it's also got itself into a relationship that is it's destructive and weird.
Well, we saw the same thing with the United States government's response to Spain and Catalonia. Rather than sending the military to defend the borders of Catalonia, if the people of Catalonia had in fact requested it, which they didn't, but if, for example, they requested, hey,
there's a deal with the devil.
We're being invaded by Spain here. Will you help us to defend our independence and our freedom? The United States government would not have done it.
Aren't they in an agreement with NATO with the government of Spain and not the government of Catalonia?
I don't know.
I mean, they've got treaties at this point.
But I mean, NATO is junk in the first place and should be thrown out as
NATO's
a relic
probably
of
one
the
of
Cold War.
one of the best models for what the United States federal government should in fact be doing. My argument is the federal government really should be very little more than an interstate compact of free trade.
See, I don't even see that as necessary. I mean, why can't company in location A do business with company in location B? Why even
because there's
involve
these
the
organizations
government?
called states.
Right, but they shouldn't exist.
But they do.
They do, yes.
Okay. So in a world where they do, a federation of those states that agree to do business in a free market, as they largely do in the United States, between states, right? Like,
yes,
it's pretty close to a free market in the United States if you're doing business, say, from New Hampshire to Florida or something. Not perfect, but much better than it is, say, doing business from New Hampshire to Beijing.
Sure.
And that's what, in my opinion, the federal government should be doing, is that particular task and the task of, securing the borders of any state that wishes to be part of that federation. And I think that should have extended to, if they didn't have all the extra rules of the federal government trying to grow and be the federal government, if it was just those two things, what you would see is Canada, basically most of Central America, maybe even good parts of South America, many parts of Europe, many places in Africa, colonial places in Africa, and a variety of places that would have opted in to this federation. And then you wouldn't have the conflict that the federal government, because the United States military has been used as a tool of imperialism and hegemony, whether people like to admit it or not. I mean, it's undeniable, and it can be shown over and over and over again repeatedly. However, if people are opting in, it's not used as a tool of empire and hegemony on Florida and New Hampshire. So if people then opt in, then you may very well have this one world government that the Birchers are so scared of in the form of the United States, because it would in fact be this beacon on the hill of liberty that simply is a military that intends to protect those borders. Now, it would get very interesting trying to take in some people from Ghana and people from Connecticut and put them into the same military and pay them the same stuff. I mean, how would this all work? I don't know. But it's, to me, a fascinating idea and a model that could have been a more libertarian world.
Certainly. And if the statehood emblem meant something that valuable, it would be coveted. These other nations, it would be a worldwide government, as you pointed out, essentially, because it was so desired to be part of it. We're offering you this and that and this other thing, and all you have to do is, voluntarily sign up for it. Well, okay, everybody would sign up for it. But what they're offering has become a hollow mockery of what they were supposed to be offering.
Oh, yes.
So rather than offering people economic security and things like that, what we end up with is the only way to escape the foreign policy of the American government is to be an American.
Interestingly, the English common law system that that the Supreme Court operates under is not the common law system of Louisiana. All right, they're under Napoleonic law, and somehow they fit in to this system that we have. So it's not to say that even judicial systems that are different than our own wouldn't work, because they already are. And I don't know whether I'm advocating for this, but I have spent some time thinking about what it might be like. Enough time to wonder whether or not we should replace the stars in the flag with maple leaves, or replace the maple leaf in the Canadian flag with a star. Just saying.
Let's go to the phones real quick. We got David from New Mexico. David, you got like a minute. What's on your mind?
Tranny Talk Live, talk radio you can troll. I heard you were talking about Nazis earlier. Were you talking about any of the gay Nazis?
No. Which gay Nazis are we talking about? Are your particular gay Nazis? Your New Mexican gay Nazis?
Aside from the gay Nazis at the University of New Mexico radio station, the stormtrooper brown shirt gay Nazis. You know why their shirts are brown, don't you?
I don't know.
And I'm scared of where you're going with
I suspect the reason I do know what you're alluding to, and I don't know anything about brown shirts having been gay. The things that I read about brown shirts, admittedly sparse, have never intimated this particular claim.
Have you? Oh, really? What history books have you been reading there, Mr. Edgington?
The government ones.
The government ones, the ones that they issue in prison?
Well,
I don't think they issue history books in prison. But
David, we have the old ones that we sent to that they sent to the library. Sure.
But you've got to stop waiting until the last minute and a half of the show to call. And
no, I think it was a great call.
I think it was too. I just wish we had
He said it was
time
talk
for more
radio
of it.
you can troll, and then he trolled the hell out of us for a minute and a half.
Go head on over to freetalklive.com to check out the archives of the show going back a full 10 years. Again, that's freetalklive.com. We'll be back this same time tomorrow, every night of the week.
You love Bitcoin. It's the future, right? Well, no, not if everyone stops using it. I mean, think about it. How many places in your town take Bitcoin? One? None? Let's be real. If this Bitcoin thing is ever going to happen, it's going to need your help. The good news is the guys at AnyPay have your back. We built a website called helpmetakebitcoin.com, and it's a place you can send any business, and they'll be set up to take Bitcoin in 5 minutes. helpmetakebitcoin.com.
I can definitely say that I have found the best cryptocurrency wallet. Certainly the best named one. I'm Mark Edge, and I love the Edge wallet. I've been using it for the last few months. You can buy, sell, trade, and hold your cryptocurrency securely. I trust my holdings of all the major cryptocurrencies to Edge wallet, and you should too. No long phrases to memorize, just a username and password. Secure your freedom with Edge wallet. Get it now on Apple or Android in the App Store or at edge.io.